How's it going, you guys? It's Scott with Everyday Shed, and today I want to show you how to protect your investment when it comes to your shed or maybe a pavilion in your yard or even a kid's play set. This anchoring kit that we put together with a company called Gripple is easy install, flexible for a lot of different applications, and it gives you a few different options to attach it to something like a shed floor like the one I'm sitting on top of. So let's go ahead and do a few examples so you can pick the right one that's going to work for you. So the anchoring kit will come with 4 different anchors and a 4-pack of these large Gripple Plus, which are our joiners and tensioners. These things are awesome and kind of a key that makes this kit flexible. So I unraveled each of the 8-foot sections of 5/32 aircraft cables, and here are the anchors that will drive vertically in the ground. And the only thing you really need to pick up is a 1/2-inch piece or a number 4, 4-foot long rebar, and that's what's going to help us drive into the ground. And there's a couple different options of how to get that in the ground with the minimal amount of tools. And then each anchor has 8 foot worth of aircraft cable, and with the combination of the joiner tensioner, that is why whether your shed is on the ground or even the corners 24 inches off the ground, this should work well for you, and it's flexible to meet any one of those different applications. So let's go through 4 different installations, starting off here simply. It is a good idea just to drive that rebar in the ground, making sure you don't hit any rocks, because if you start to drive the anchor in, you hit a rock only about 12 or 18 inches down, then you have to dig the anchor out and start over in a new location. Now also make sure you locate your utilities so we're not hitting anything, as we're going to go 30 to 36 inches into the ground. Once we're done driving that, you do want to actually try to pull up or set that. So I'll use my rebar as a little bit of leverage. And what we're looking to do is get that anchor from a vertical position, pulling up and starting to get it horizontal. That's where the strength's going to come from. Then we'll pass the 5/32 aircraft cable through the gripple and bring that down close to the ground. Now for this first application, I'm just going to wrap it up and around a 4x4 skid that's supported with our adjustable pedestals, and then bring that back through the other side of the gripple. I can pull that tight, and then it does not let the aircraft cable go the other direction. So that's why it serves as kind of like a zip tie, and it is super handy and fast to install. So this first location, I have a bunch of slack. Now you could have some bolt cutters or just take a cutoff wheel like this on an angle grinder and cut that extra slack off so you don't have cable laying all over your yard. Now your second option works really well if you just have a shed in your yard and you can't really get access underneath the shed. And this will actually install with a rotary hammer drill with a ground rod attachment. Depending on your soil conditions, sometimes this works quite a bit better than just the sledgehammer. In others, it's about the same. For me, I actually just prefer the sledgehammer over this ground rod attachment on the rotary hammer drill, but it was able to sink it down about 36 inches. Now here we'll just drill a 1/2-inch hole after setting that anchor, and it actually pulls up a little bit. That's why you want to set that anchor, to make sure it is tight in the ground, and it's going to give you that resistance. And we'll be testing exactly how much force it can withstand here in 1 second. Now here's the gripple. We'll again pass it through like we did on the first one, but here it's a very simple installation. Now if you ever have to redo and back out your cable, there is a release key here that you just insert in that small hole, and then that will press a D10 inside, and you can back your aircraft cable out and make the adjustments you need to. But here we'll pass that through, load to the ground again, wrap it through the hole, and now it's just going to hold on to my outside rim joist, which is a 2x6 pressure treated joist, as I pass the loose end through, and then I'll go ahead and also cut off that length. The question is, how much do these actually hold? And I did put them to the test here with my Kubota tractor and my front loader linkage. Now I hung a load cell that can go up to 2,000 pounds off the front, and then I drove one of these anchors into the ground 30 to 36 inches. Remember, this is red Georgia clay. Depending on your area, you might have different performance, but it starts to pull out about 400 to 500 pounds. But to get it to actually pull completely out of the ground, which kind of put my tractor to the test, it went all the way up to over 1,000 pounds to get to rip out of the ground. And you'll see why it actually takes that much. Here, you'll see 1,130 was the actual force it took, and that was the highest we reached. And that's because the anchor is completely sideways and you have to pull that all the way up and through. So I'll move on to our third install, which starts off the same. And if you guys are interested in checking out these kits for your own application, you can scan the QR code if you're on your TV, or the link in the description right below the video, and it'll take you over to Everyday Shed, where we have these products listed. Now we'll drive in that rebar down to about 30 or 36 inches like normal. But in this time, after setting it and trying to get it set in there, we're going to use a hot dip galvanized eye bolt. And it's a 1/2 inch by 3/4 of an inch. And you can see the load on there. It said it can take 2,200 pounds. If you're going to get a lag hook or a lag eye like this, or a bolt like this, make sure it can withstand over 1,000 pounds so it can hold up to what these anchors can hold up. And we'll just pull that slack out. And really, that slack is there for if it uplifts, then it's going to fight against that. But what happens if you actually want to apply a little bit of down force right in the normal install, even without any uplift? That is our 4th instance here. We're going to put that eye bolt in place like we did on number 3. But now we're going to use a hot dip galvanized turnbuckle. I'll keep all these parts in the description with links for your guys' reference. We'll pass the aircraft cable through the bottom of the turnbuckle and just pull that hand tight. Once we get close, then we can actually use the turnbuckle, which is going to help you tighten things up and apply a little bit of downforce right at this corner, which maybe that works out better for you in your application. Now, I want to know from you guys, which one fits your application? Is it the first one where we just looped it around the 4x4 post? The second one where we drilled a hole through the actual floor joist? The third one where we installed an eye bolt and connected it up? Or that fourth one where we used a turnbuckle to make sure it was nice and tight between the eye bolt and the anchor itself? And don't forget, you'll see a link right below the video in the description if you could use one of these anchor kits around your own house. Now, if you want to see how we're leveling up these floors differently than we used to, and it's about 10 times faster, you can check out this video right here, and we'll show you the 3 different options you have when you're trying to level a shed floor. Or if you just want to see what it takes, a complete start to finish on one of the most common types of sheds, you can check out this video right here, and we'll walk you through the complete process. So thanks for joining us on this video, and we'll catch you on one of those next ones. Take care.